The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, but we'll only be satisfied when all of these problems are solved, and we have the team to solve them, and that's going to happen. And it's going to happen, I think, very quickly.
इजराइल के प्रधानमंत्री बेंजामिन नेतन्याहू इस समय अमेरिकी दौरे पर हैं। उन्होंने गाजा सीज फायर के बीच वॉशिंगटन पहुंचकर राष्ट्रपति डोनाल्ड ट्रंप से मुलाकात की। दोनों ही नेताओं के बीच प्रमुख मुद्दा रहा गाजा, लेकिन ट्रंप ने यह कहकर सभी को चौंका दिया कि अमेरिका गाजा पर कब्जा करेगा। अमेरिकी राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने गाजा को लेकर एक रोड मैप तैयार किया है। ट्रंप का कहना है कि हम गाजा पट्टी को अपने अधिकार क्षेत्र में लेंगे। यह पूछे जाने पर कि क्या इसके लिए अमेरिकी सेना की मदद ली जाएगी, इस पर ट्रंप ने कहा, इससे इनकार नहीं किया जा सकता। हम संभावित रूप से अमेरिकी सेना की मदद लेंगे। इजरायली प्रधानमंत्री बेंजामिन नेतन्याहू से व्हाइट हाउस में मुलाकात के बाद प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस को संबोधित करते हुए ट्रंप ने एक बार फिर गाजा पट्टी को खाली करवाने की बात दोहराई है। उन्होंने कहा, फिलिस्तीनियों को गाजा पट्टी खाली करनी होगी। उन्हें मिस्र, जॉर्डन और अन्य देशों में स्थायी तौर पर बस जाना चाहिए। अब गाजा रहने लायक नहीं रहा। मैंने सुना है कि गाजा उनके लिए बदकिस्मत है। वे वहां नरक की तरह रहते हैं। वे नरक में रह रहे हैं। गाजा के भविष्य में फिलिस्तीनी नहीं है। उस दौरान ट्रंप कहते हैं कि उन्होंने कई महीनों से गाजा की स्टडी की है, बहुत करीब से स्टडी की है। गाजा में फिलिस्तीनियों के पास कोई विकल्प नहीं है। उनके पास क्या है? वहाँ बस मलबा है। फिलिस्तीनियों को गाजा के बजाय किसी खूबसूरत जगह शिफ्ट हो जाना चाहिए। हम गाजा पर नियंत्रण हासिल कर वहाँ मौजूद सभी खतरनाक बना फटे बमों और अन्य हथियारों को नष्ट करने से लेकर साइट को समतल करने और नष्ट इमारतों का मलबा हटाने की जिम्मेदारी निभाएंगे। इस दौरान ट्रंप ने कहा कि गाजा को खाली करवाने के लिए यहाँ पर जोर शोर से पुनर्निर्माण का कार्य करवाया जाएगा। हम गाजा को रिवेरा ऑफ मिडिल ईस्ट में तब्दील कराएंगे। ट्रंप ने कहा कि यह फैसला पूरी गंभीरता से लिया गया है। मैंने जिनसे भी यह ब्लूप्रिंट के बारे में बात की है, उन्हें यह पसंद आया है।
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, but we'll only be satisfied when all of these problems are solved, and we have the team to solve them, and that's going to happen. And it's going to happen, I think, very quickly. I also strongly believe that the Gaza Strip, which has been a symbol of death and destruction for so many decades, and so bad for the people anywhere near it, and especially those who live there, and frankly, who's been really very unlucky. It's been very unlucky. It's been an unlucky place for a long time. Being in its presence just has not been good, and it should not go through a process of rebuilding and occupation by the same people that have really stood there and fought for it and lived there and died there and lived a miserable existence there. Instead, we should go to other countries of interest with humanitarian hearts, and there are many of them that want to do this, and build various domains that will ultimately be occupied by the 1.8 million Palestinians living in Gaza, ending the death and destruction and, frankly, bad luck. This can be paid for by neighboring countries of great wealth. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12. It could be numerous sites, or it could be one large site. But the people will be able to live in comfort and peace, and we'll make sure something really spectacular is done. They're going to have peace. They're not going to be shot at and killed and destroyed like this civilization of wonderful people has had to endure. The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region.
You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent in a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over. It's just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle. And it's a very, very dangerous place to be. And it's only going to get worse. And I think this is an idea that's gotten tremendous, and I'm talking about from the highest level of leadership, gotten tremendous praise. And if the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that. Bibi?
I mentioned again tonight our three goals. And the third goal is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. President Trump is taking it to a much higher level. He sees a different future for that piece of land that has been the focus of so much terrorism, so many attacks against us, so many trials and so many tribulations. He has a different idea. And I think it's worth paying attention to this. We're talking about it. He's exploring it with his people, with his staff. I think it's something that could change history. And it's worthwhile really pursuing this avenue.
प्रभात खबर.com, विश्वास वही, रफ्तार नहीं।